Hi there, it's Asya, and for today's video, I've selected the most common questions you asked me about IELTS reading. They are here and I'll answer them in today's video, and I hope it will be useful for you because knowing more about the exam helps you avoid silly mistakes and maximize your score by choosing the right strategy. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let me answer each question one by one. The first question is it true that the first section may be more difficult than the last? So we're talking about IELTS reading. There are always 3 sections. And the first section is always the easiest, and the last is always the most difficult. It may be the case that some question in section 2 will be more difficult for you than some questions in section 3, but generally the last section is the most challenging. Can we switch between sections in IELTS reading and start with any part we like? Absolutely. As soon as the section begins, you can turn your pages as you wish. In a computer-based test, you can click on any question absolutely freely. But you should always start from the first section and then do the second and then the third, because each answer weighs 1 point. So it's best to get all the easy points first and then spend all the remaining time on the more challenging questions. Can I use the time from one reading section for another reading section, provided I finish the former very quickly? Yes, when you read IELTS reading instructions, you will see that you should spend 20 minutes on each section. But the truth is, you need more than 20 minutes for the third section. And perhaps, hopefully, you can finish the first in less than that. I would try to finish the first section in about 15 minutes, not more, 20 for the second and 25 for the third. Only in this case, you have the chance to answer those more difficult questions. If you can progress through the test even more quickly. And if you encounter a question you can't answer, don't lose too much time on it, just leave it, mark it to review. You may come back to it later and just move on to other questions you may answer more quickly. Okay, do we get extra time to transfer our answers to the answer sheet? Or do we have to do that within our 60 minutes? Yes, you have to finish everything in 60 minutes. You're not gonna be given any extra time. And I know why there is this confusion. That's because in IELTS listening, you do get some extra time, but in IELTS reading, you don't. And you know, every time I take a paper-based exam, there are people who run out of time and they can't transfer all their answers. So they know what those answers are, they just can't mark them and they lose all those points. So it's a total catastrophe. That's why I think it's better to play safe. You finished your first section, transfer all the answers, except those you're not certain about. You finish the second section, transfer your answers. You finish the third section, transfer your answers. Then go back to those questions you couldn't answer straight away, in case the time runs out more quickly than you expected. Should we attempt all the questions in IELTS reading or only the ones we know the answers to? Yes, you should answer every question. You don't lose any points for incorrect answers. And for every question, you just have 4 options, sometimes only 3 options, so you have a good chance to guess correctly. So for those questions you're not certain about, when you don't have time to answer them, just select any answer. Is spelling important? Oh yes, if you make a typo, it will be an incorrect answer. Particularly for those questions when you need to fill gaps, you usually need to find some complex words. Make sure you transfer those answers very carefully onto your answer sheet. And of course, if you take a computer-based exam, it's a little bit easier for you because you can copy and paste the word, avoiding a possibility of a typo. Okay, the next question is, do true, false, not given questions come in order? As far as I know, yes. I've analyzed a number of official practice tests, and I've always paid attention how questions are located during my real exams. And it seems that true, false, not given questions do come in order. It means you can read the first question, find your answer, read the next question, find your answer, and so on. But quite often you have yes, no, not given questions at the end of your third section. So most likely those won't be in order. I've made my research into which types of questions come in order and which don't. And you can learn all that in this video here. I will link it in the video description. Answers for certain tasks come in order, right? That's right. So does the order restart after every task, or does it continue from the point where the previous task's answer stopped? Yes, it continues throughout the passage. You read the question, find an answer, read the question, continue reading the text until you find an answer, and so on. Of course, it may be interrupted if you see a type of questions where answers don't come in order. For example, matching headings or matching paragraphs, matching sentence endings. Those questions don't come in order. Can I write answers in capital letters? Yes. Both in IELTS reading paper-based and computer-based, you can write your answers in capital letters or in small letters, or you can capitalize the first letter, whatever way you wish. Let's continue. Can I write on the question sheets? Yes. In the paper-based exam, I actually recommend marking your answers on the question sheets first. You can cross out incorrect options, you can mark questions for review, highlight keywords and do whatever you wish. Then you simply transfer your answers to the answer sheet and no one will check your question sheet, so don't worry about that. Can we answer with just T, F and G instead of true, false, not given? That's a common question, and I did my best to find an official answer we could rely on. But unfortunately, there is no such information available, it seems. To the best of my knowledge, you can. But if you read the instructions very carefully, you will see that you are supposed to answer true, false, not given, not T, F, and G. So to be 100% safe, I would write those words in full because it just takes you a few extra seconds. And of course, in a computer-based exam, you just click on the option and it's not a question anymore. Should we include articles in our answers? To be honest, I've never seen any article or preposition being used in IELTS reading. Usually you just need to find one word or two words. And if you are hesitating between one or two words, well, first check your instructions. Are you actually allowed to write two words? Because if you're only supposed to write one word and you write two, that's an incorrect answer. For example, you find the combination birthday party. So one word is party, two words birthday party. Is it possible to underline keywords in the computer-based test? Yes, you can. So you just select your word or your phrase, right-click, highlight. And you can do it in your passage and in your questions as well. Are we allowed to use Ctrl F to search for words? Unfortunately not. This section is blocked, otherwise I guess it would be a little bit easier. But no, you can't do that. You can use two other combinations. Ctrl C to copy a word and Ctrl F to paste this word. That's useful for questions when you need to fill a gap. So when you find those words, you just copy them and paste. Can we see remaining seconds if we hover over the clock? Yes, again, that's a question about a computer-based exam. And that's a functionality I've just learned about, but I don't think that's particularly useful because it takes a bit of your time just to check it. And if you don't do that, you will only see minutes. So you will see 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and then your screen gets locked. Do we get a pencil and paper in the computer-based test? Yes, you do. You get a sheet with instructions and you get a pencil. And you can write on this sheet, but I don't really see what you're gonna write there. I don't see any need. If you want to mark any questions for review, you can do it on the screen. What are the best preparation materials for the reading part? Okay, you will need some practice tests. And you should only take official practice tests because other tests are just different types of questions, different level of complexity. So these are the official books. The latest is number 15 and number 16 will be published in June 2021. So these are for academic students and you can find similar books for general training students. Then you also need to learn about IELTS reading strategies. And here I may appear immodest, but I suggest watching the videos in my IELTS reading playlist. You will learn about all the strategies for this exam. You will learn about strategies for the most difficult types of questions, such as true, false, not given, and matching headings. And then you will take your practice tests, and the rest will depend on how quickly you can read in English and how wide your vocabulary is. Could you recommend some materials, books and newspapers to improve my reading? Okay, that's if you have a bit more time before your exam. You should absolutely read in English. So for general training students, I think the best is to switch your life to English. Read instructions, news, job descriptions, read everything in English. These are the kinds of texts you will find during your exam. All students, general training and academic students, should read some news in English. The Guardian and BBC are free and excellent sources of all kinds of articles. For academic students, passages are going to be more academic, more scientific. So you should read some scientific articles, for example, the Science magazine, or simply the science section of the BBC website. How much should I read on a daily basis? Well, if you need to improve your reading skills, there is a good chance that you need to improve your writing and speaking skills too, and so you can't spend too much time on one section. You need to pay attention to each of them. And even if you read 20 minutes a day, 2 articles a day, that's great. Consistency is key. And of course, don't forget to learn new words from those articles. You don't have to learn all those words, only those which you think you're more likely to get in other articles, more common words you don't know. So these are more long-term strategies. But of course, if you haven't taken your IELTS exam yet, maybe you can get to the required score in a shorter period of time by taking those practice tests, by learning those IELTS strategies. It takes less time. So I'm gonna link the IELTS reading playlist I've been talking about. And thank you so much for watching me today. Good luck with your preparation and your exam. Bye!